You open your phone and someone you went to school with just got promoted. Someone else just got engaged. Someone else is traveling, building something, moving forward in a way that makes your life suddenly feel very still by comparison. And you know you shouldn't compare. You've heard that 100 times. But knowing you shouldn't doesn't stop the feeling from arriving anyway. That quiet, uncomfortable sense that everyone around you is progressing and you're somehow standing in place. That you're behind. That time is moving faster than you are. And the worst part isn't even the comparison itself. It's the shame that comes with it. The feeling that you should be further along by now. That you've wasted time. That the window for certain things is slowly closing and you haven't done enough to deserve keeping it open. This feeling is one of the most common and least talked about experiences in modern psychology. And it's doing significantly more damage than most people realize. The first thing to understand is that the feeling of falling behind is almost entirely a social construction. Behind implies a finish line. It implies a race with a fixed route, a set pace, and a correct position to be in at every stage. That structure doesn't actually exist. It was built by a combination of social expectations, cultural timelines, and the comparison habits your brain developed long before you had any say in the matter. By 30, you should have this. By this age, you should have done that. These aren't rules written into the fabric of reality. They're patterns that got repeated so many times they started to feel like facts. And your brain, which is extremely sensitive to social norms and group behavior, absorbed those patterns and turned them into a measuring stick it now holds up against your life on a daily basis. The second reason this feeling is so persistent is because of what social media has done to human comparison. For most of human history, you compared yourself to the people immediately around you. Your village, your neighborhood, your social circle, that's maybe a few dozen people. Now your brain is comparing itself to thousands of people simultaneously, across every category of life, every single day. Career, relationships, body, travel, success, happiness, all of it curated, filtered, and presented at its absolute best moment. Your brain was never built to process that volume of comparison. It didn't evolve for a world where you could see the highlight reel of 10,000 lives before you even got out of bed. So it does what it always does with overwhelming social information. It finds your position in the hierarchy and tells you whether you're safe or falling behind. And in a world of infinite comparison, you will almost always feel like you're falling behind, because there will always be someone ahead of you in whatever direction you're looking. The third reason is something most people never consider. The feeling of falling behind is often most intense, not when your life is going badly, but when your life is actually starting to move, when you're making changes, building something, becoming more aware of who you are and what you actually want. Because that awareness creates a gap between where you are and where you can now clearly see you want to be. And your brain interprets that gap as evidence that you're behind, when really it's evidence that you're growing. The people who never feel behind are often the people who've stopped paying attention to where they're going. The discomfort isn't a sign that you're losing. It's a sign that you're awake enough to notice the distance. The fourth reason is that you are measuring your entire journey against other people's single visible moments. You see someone's promotion, their relationship, their milestone. You don't see the decade of uncertainty that came before it. You don't see the versions of their life that didn't work out. You don't see what they're quietly struggling with right now. In the same moment, you're looking at their life and feeling inadequate. You're comparing your full, unedited internal experience to their external highlight. And that comparison will never be fair because you're the only person whose complete story you actually have access to. Here's the truth about falling behind. You are not behind. You are in a specific moment of a specific life that has never existed before and will never exist again. There is no correct position to be in at this age, with this particular combination of experiences and decisions that brought you here. The timeline you're measuring yourself against was never yours to begin with. So ask yourself this: whose timeline are you actually living on, and when did you decide that theirs was more valid than your own?